Fayetteville, Arkansas, 2009. A town with long highways, older buildings, and places that still served black coffee in chipped ceramic mugs. Just off State Route 16 sat a 24-hour diner. No name on the front, just a neon sign that buzzed louder than the kitchen. Locals called it the Milepost, though no one remembered why. At night, it ran on a skeleton crew. One server, one cook, and one man named Marvin who did the dishes, kept to himself and never asked for more hours. The diner was never empty, not even after midnight. Truckers stopped in, off-duty cops, college kids passing through. But after 2 a.m., something always felt still. The noise didn't disappear, it just went dull. Like sound couldn't carry past the glass. That was when Marlon started, the new cook. Quiet type. 38, divorced. Said he liked working when the place was slow. Said he liked the stillness. His third night on the job, something caught his eye. A man. Sitting alone in the back right booth. Table 9. Thin, older, wearing what looked like a beige jacket with torn sleeves. His head was always bowed, as if reading something on the table. But he never moved. Never lifted a menu. Marlon asked the waitress, Lisa, if she'd taken his order. She looked confused. Who? Table 9 was empty. But Marlon kept looking. The man was still there, still silent. Lisa thought he was joking. Doug, the manager, laughed. If he's ordering, Doug said, tell him the coffee's on the house. But at 2:04 a.m., just as Lisa rang up her last order of the night, the ticket machine chirped. One slip, just one. It printed a new order, liver and onions, black coffee. Marlon didn't put it in. Lisa swore she hadn't touched the register. Doug assumed it was a glitch. But something in the handwriting stopped Marlon. The name printed at the top of the order wasn't Doug, wasn't Lisa, it was Booth 9. The system didn't have a function for printing seating positions. It had to be input manually. That night, Marlon made the food. He felt stupid, but plated it anyway, slid the dish under the service window, poured the coffee, and placed it just so. Nobody came to pick it up. Lisa eventually threw it away. But Marlon swears the food cooled faster than it should have, like the plate had been sitting there longer than anyone realized. The next night, same time, same booth, another ticket, liver and onions, black coffee, again. The order always came at 2:04 a.m., and the old man never moved. Marlon began to prepare the plate before the slip even printed. He couldn't explain why, it just felt wrong not to, even though no one else could see the man. Over the next few nights, Marlon settled into the rhythm. Lunch rush, late shift prep, silence after 1 a.m., and at 2:04, always exactly 2:04, the machine chirped. The slip printed. Liver and onions, black coffee. It became part of the routine, until things began to change. First, it was the plates. Marlon would set the order on the window tray, plate, silverware, hot mug. When he turned his back to finish prep, it would vanish. At first, he assumed Lisa was picking them up, but one night she walked in and asked why he hadn't made the order yet. He pointed at the empty tray. Her face dropped. She said she hadn't touched it. Marlon started watching the tray closely. Next time the slip printed, he made the food, placed it down, and stepped away, keeping it in the corner of his eye. Nothing happened for almost 10 full minutes. Then the lights in the kitchen flickered once. Just once. And when he looked back and the plate was gone. No clatter, no footsteps, gone. They checked the CCTV, pulled up the timestamp. The camera facing the service window froze at 2:04, right as the order was placed. Timestamp kept running, but the image didn't move, until 2:13 a.m. when the frame stuttered forward again and the tray was empty. That's when Lisa got shoved. She'd gone to wipe down table 9. No one was there. She leaned in to grab a mug someone left behind, and something hit her back. Hard. Sent her forward into the table edge. She spun around. The aisle was clear. She screamed. Doug rushed out. The back of Lisa's uniform had 3 deep creases, as if someone had grabbed her by both shoulders and pushed. They checked the footage again. Same result. The moment froze. They called the police. The officer assumed it was a prank. Maybe someone sneaking in. So they locked up tight the next night. A patrol car parked outside, and an officer, Corporal Hicks, sat inside until sunrise. Hicks arrived at 1:45, sat in booth 3 with a view of the kitchen, talked with Marlin, ordered a soda, said everything looked normal. Until 2:04, the machine printed. Hicks looked up. Marlin didn't touch it. Liver and onions, black coffee. Hicks asked who the ticket was for. Marlin didn't answer. He just made the food. They both watched the tray. For 5 minutes, nothing. Then the lights buzzed. A faint, static hum filled the air. The plate was gone. Hicks asked if the diner had always been this cold. Lisa said she hadn't adjusted the thermostat. Doug checked the HVAC. Room temp said 68 degree UNF. But their breath was starting to fog. Hicks filed an informal note. Recommend monitoring table 9. Order timestamps do not match kitchen activity. Possible unknown variable. Unexplained cold draft. Recommend further observation. That was the last time any officer agreed to stay the night. But the question remained, can something that doesn't exist demand service? Can a presence wait patiently, night after night, for food to be prepared? Can a memory grow hungry? The night before it happened, Hicks came back. Not in uniform, no partner, just a small digital recorder in his pocket. He sat in table 9, the seat the man supposedly always used. Marlin begged him not to, but Hicks insisted. Just one more shift, he said. Just one more recording. He set the recorder on the table. Marlin prepared the meal. Liver, onions, coffee. 2:04 a.m. At first, nothing happened. Then, from somewhere near the window, the air shifted. Not colder, just off. The condiments on every table shook. Marlin felt a presence brush behind him, though the door never opened. Hicks hit record. Silence. Then, faint sounds. Chewing. Slow. Heavy. Then a voice. He cooks well. Let him stay. Hicks stood up fast, knocking over his coffee. But the plate was gone, and the chair across from him had moved, just a few inches. The next morning, Doug arrived early. Found Marlin collapsed on the kitchen floor. Skin flushed red, eyes shut, breathing shallow. Like he'd been burned. But everything was cold. The thermometer on the wall read 41 to Montagade. No hot water, no steam, no explanation. When Marlin woke up, he kept repeating, I didn't put it on the tray. The diner shut down the next month. Official reason, plumbing issue. Unofficially, and no one wanted the night shift anymore. When a new cafe opened years later, they removed table 9. But the 2:04 ticket, liver and onions, black coffee, showed up once. Just once. The manager threw the slip away, but the tray was found the next day. Clean, dry, and placed exactly where table 9 used to be. Facing the window, as if something had finished its meal and was waiting. For seconds. That's where Raymond was assigned. Third shift, midnight to 6 a.m. He'd been on the job less than a week. Quiet worker, clean record. A LED from the motion detectors. But the next night, it happened again. This time, two red lights, in a straight line, about 6 feet apart. Not blinking. Raymond backed away, snapped a photo, nothing showed, just grain, a blur. The next day, he checked the CCTV. The feed skipped 5 seconds on from 2:19:03. Machinery humming, distant trucks. But by day 9, his tone changed. In one log, he stammered, there's a sound now, down past the aisle. Does reached her, she was shaking, pressed against shelving, phone on the floor. A forklift had coasted toward her, slow at first, then fast, no driver, key still locked. Security A new sound appeared, breathing, mechanical, slow, wet. Then, a whisper, you stacked it wrong. Followed by the loud clatter of pallets. When morning came, a.m., Raymond's station was empty. His vest hung up. His badge, missing. Forklift Unit 7's engine cover was removed. Inside, Raymond's badge, burnt, warped. Dock 12 was shut down. 6 weeks later, corporate ordered all units scrapped. Unit 7 resisted, refused to move until sunrise. When the sun rose, it rolled forward, on its own. Who never clocked out. Baton Rouge, Louisiana, 2012. St. Augustine Regional Medical Center. A modest hospital by state standards, known for its outdated equipment and low patient turnover. The West Wing housed the old units, records, supply closets, storage, and beneath it all, a basement morgue. The morgue hadn't been updated in nearly 2 decades. The refrigeration still ran on manual dials. Toe tags were handwritten. Only 2 people had access on third shift, the attending coroner and the night janitor. That year, the hospital hired Liza Moran. 39, single mother, 4 kids, 2 jobs. She didn't mind the night shift, said it was quieter, said it paid better. Her duties were straightforward. Wipe down surgical prep areas, empty biohazard bins, sweep the lower floors. She never touched the drawers, never went near the scales, but she did clean the viewing room. A small chamber with one black telephone mounted on the wall. That phone was designed to ring only once. Just once. It signaled a call from upstairs. Security, staff, administration. One ring, no voicemail, no callback. Liza was trained to ignore it. But starting her second week, something changed. The phone began ringing at the same time, every night. 3:33 a.m. exactly. At first, she thought it was static, a loose wire. But on the second night, she noticed the pause afterward. Ring. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then, a faint click, as if someone picked up. She asked the coroner, Dr. Emery, about it. His answer? It's a deadline. Nobody uses it anymore. But it kept ringing. Every night, always at 3:33. One night, she stood across the room, watching. Right as the second hand ticked, ringed. Then silence. She picked it up. No dial tone, just a low hum, like breath behind drywall. The next night, the phone rang earlier, 3:32:48. Then 3:32:38 each night, 10 seconds earlier. On the 7th night, it rang at 3:31:28. She didn't answer, but she left her mop bucket under the receiver. When she returned, the bucket was tipped, water across the floor. The receiver handle, wet. She asked maintenance. They checked the wiring. This line hasn't been connected in 11 years, but on December 20th, just before Christmas, she answered it again. 3:30 a.m. For the first time, it rang more than once. On the third ring, she stepped closer. The screen flickered faint green. Internal line 17. But line 17 had been shut down in 1999. She lifted the receiver. It was ice cold. No static, just breathing. Inhale. Exhale, but wrong, like lungs working backward. Then a voice. You closed my eyes wrong. Behind her, the lights flickered, one by one. She dropped the phone, but it didn't fall. It swung sideways like something caught it. The whisper continued. You closed my eyes wrong. Over and over. Her breath fogged. The thermometer dropped from 24 degrees to 12 degrees C. Her mop water began to freeze, from the center outward. Then a slow dragging sound. She turned. One drawer was open, just 3 inches. Drawer number 17. The tag read, Unidentified Male. Case, Zolwo 491B. Date, December 17th, 1999. Cause, traumatic asphyxiation. Coroner, Dr. Emery. From the gap, a soft tap, then fabric shifting, then, you closed my eyes wrong. It continued until 3:40 a.m. Then the drawer shut on its own. The lights warmed, the phone stopped swinging. But the next night, something else. On her clipboard in shaky black ink. You blinked too soon. Lisa brought a recorder on January 5th. placed it under the phone. Waited. 3:33, no ring, just a click. The receiver lifted itself. A whisper. You heard me before? Now hear yourself? She grabbed the recorder. Upstairs, she pressed play. Breathing, then her own voice. You closed my eyes wrong. But she hadn't spoken. She never said those words. Later, cameras caught her walking into the freezer. Alone. Door shut behind her. 17 minutes later, she emerged. Pale. Breath fogging. Alive. She was put on unpaid leave. No official report. Security footage was reviewed. One frame showed a sticky note on the freezer door. Open at 3:33. I'm still cold. Maintenance later found another note, dated 1999. Line 17 is awake again. Don't answer. He's cold and wants out. The handwriting matched Dr. Emery. Last shift, December 17th, 1999. The day the unidentified body arrived. After the incident, Liza disappeared. No resignation, no termination. Her phone was found at home. Call log. One missed call. No number. Just the name. You. Her voicemail contained only breathing, then her own voice. I'm still cold. The hospital removed the phone, sealed the drawer, restricted the basement. But staff still hear it. A single ring. A faint whisper. Open it. It's 3:33. Security footage was quietly deleted. Drawer Nahutcher 17's file was replaced with one line. This case is no longer available. Still, janitors report the phone ringing. When they answer, it sounded like me, but slower, like I'd forgotten how to breathe. If you picked up a phone and heard your own voice whispering back, how would you know it was really you? How would you know it wasn't something else wearing your voice? 3 places, 3 jobs, 3 people working alone. No connection, except the graveyard shift. Raymond worked the warehouse. Machines moved without power. He vanished without unlocking the door. Liza cleaned the morgue, answered a phone that didn't exist, heard herself whisper things she never said. And the diner cook? Served meals to someone no one else could see. Left behind 7 trays. Each note on the back read, "Don't look at the time." The footage, notes, calls, and all point to something more. Something waits for the quiet and chooses you when no one else can see. Was it grief or guilt? Or something that only clocked in when you were alone? If you heard your own voice calling your name, would you know it was yours? Or something wearing your voice? If you felt a shadow move during the silence, if you glanced at the clock and forgot why, then maybe you heard it too, because not everyone who clocks in clocks out.